Priest is scary. Disciplined priests have to have the utmost willpower and focus, because if they lose focus while wielding light and void powers, it will fucking destroy them. It will literally fucking destroy them. So this is the Shadow Priest description. Uses sinister shadow magic and terrifying void magic to eradicate enemies, which just literally draws a line in the sand between shadow and void, for the record. And then you have to think about your abilities. Shadow Word Death? Shadow Word Pain? Is that really the same as something like Void Torrent? And why do they make the distinction? It's because they are distinct. They're different. I believe this for a very long time. This is part of why I think that Shadow and Light are different than Holy and Void. I think Holy and Void are an orderly thing spread in the cosmos to replace Light and Shadow, and to make mortals believe that those two forces created the cosmos. I don't think that's true. What I think is that true Light, Azeroth, and Shadow, Argus, probably are responsible for the creation of the cosmos, and that this is a farce given to us to give us divine protection, and to give us miracles where we shouldn't really have them. But I guess in some regard I understand why. Desperate prayer, literal miracle. Power infusion, okay, that's an interesting one. There's a lot of good shit. Tell you what, Light and Void could be the power of the result, the power of Azeroth being ordered. There was an event a long time ago called the Great Ordering of Light and Shadow. Zira talks about it, where she says she was among the first of the Naru to be forged at the Crucible of Creation during the Great Ordering of Light and Shadow. That's kind of like a mind-boggling thing to hear from Zira. But yeah, what the Ordering of Light and Shadow exactly was, I think, is probably what led to the presence of Holy and Void. Holy and Void could be the most extreme aspects of creation and destruction, taken like to the most extreme. Think about Holy and Void kind of like domination. I would say domination is probably like the most direct and powerful exertion of order that there can be. I would say Holy could be something similar, but the extreme is probably not what you want. Holy Word Life. Yeah, that's kind of a big one. These extremes are not what we want. We don't want domination / order. Or anything similar to it. We don't want light as far as holy to do that either. I never thought about domination being order magic. I mean, I don't know what it seems like to me. Holy / light is more subtle and welcoming. Doesn't change what it is. Could Holy and Light, Shadow and Void order domination be related to the idea of elemental dualities from Chronicle? Yes. The answer is yes. Fire, positive trait equals passion. Negative trait is fury. It's actually, I forgot about those. It's been so long since I've gone through those first few pages. We need to go back through it again. I've said it. I just don't want to fuck my book up. What are your thoughts on Turalyon and the future of WoW? Oh, I think what I would do with Turalyon, and this is maybe, think what you will, is what it is. One of the key components of Turalyon in Illyria's storyline is their son, Eretor. It is said that the primary reason which Illyria is able to maintain her focus and willpower in the Void is because of her love for Eretor, okay? And it's because of that connection. So it's implied in, I think, one of the side quests, but also maybe in even Illyria's quests, that if anything were to happen to Eretor, that Illyria might go crazy. So, what I would do, because he's light forged and can probably be directly controlled by a Naru if a Naru sought to do so, I think that Turalyon, whether intentionally or accidentally, being the reason for Eretor to die, would actually be sick as fuck. Because it draws the juxtaposition and contrast between light and void through the two characters which represent it, and it pushes Illyria's story forward because her son dies, and who gives a fuck about Eretor, let's be honest. Who gives a shit about that guy? And it turns out that Illidan was the true child of Light and Shadow anyway, so it's not him. So I think at this point, Illyria's fate is likely sealed. At the hour of her third death, she will probably usher in their coming. Who that is, I don't know. Obviously Old Gods Void type shit, probably through the Sunwell. I think that's probably going to happen at midnight. I would love to see Illyria and probably even Sylvanas Windrunner present for what happens in Silvermoon when the Void tries to come through the Sunwell, because it's going to get fucking crazy after that. There is also the fact that there's the whispers in Illyria's head which directly pit the Void against death and beg her to kill Sylvanas, which leads me to believe that maybe Sylvanas is the one that has to put down Illyria Windrunner. Also, there is from the Three Sisters Windrunner comic the thought from Illyria, I believe it was, or maybe it's Verisa, that perhaps death always was the true legacy of the Windrunner name. And I think that's a wonderful concept to think about because of what's happened with Sylvanas and what will probably happen at the Sunwell. Doesn't care about Verisa? I think they will. I think Verisa will get a glow up in the war in midnight. Frankly, I think they'll pull the trigger, and I don't think that she'll die necessarily. One thing to remember is that I think that the Windrunner sisters and their brother, who most people don't know about, I think that they mirror our sun and moons. So you know how you have Anshe and Musha who are like related. And then you have Losho, the blue child, who's also related to them. And like, so they're either like mother and child or brothers, sisters type shit. Well, the Windrunner sisters, their nicknames for each other are Little Sun and Lady Sun. So Little Sun is their brother. Lady Sun, I want to say actually, I might be mistaken, but I want to say it was Sylvanas. And then I want to say the Little Moon and Sister Moon. Maybe I'm fucking this up. They all correspond is what I'm trying to say. So that there's two moons and two suns. Illyria is sun. Okay, thank you. Which is ironic because she became void. So, Sylvanas is Lady Moon. Right, okay. Lady Moon, Sylvanas, Lady Sun, Illyria. And then Little Sun, I think, is Verisa, and Little Moon is Verisa, and Little Sun is their brother. So I think that that's basically it's what you would refer to as a fractal, which is a repeating story theme or characters that represent like. You get what I'm saying? The places and the faces change, the stories don't. Is what I'm trying to say.